All right, today we're diving into something pretty remarkable. It's a therapy for a really, really unsettling problem. You know, that feeling that your world is just constantly spinning? It's called vestibular rehabilitation therapy, and it's all about how we can retrain our brain's internal compass when it goes, well, haywire.
You know that feeling. You stand up too fast, and whoa, suddenly you're dizzy. Maybe the room feels like it's tilting or spinning. It's so disorienting, right? Well, for millions of people, that's not just some fleeting moment. It's a chronic condition, and it can totally disrupt their lives.
So what's behind all this? It's your vestibular system. Now, the easiest way to think about it is like this. You've got this super high-tech gyroscope deep inside your inner ear. It's sending a constant stream of signals to your brain about where your head is and how it's moving. And that's what lets your brain do these amazing things, like keeping your vision stable and your body balanced, all without you even having to think about it.
But what happens when that inner compass goes wrong? Well, the symptoms can be absolutely debilitating. Yeah, we're talking about vertigo, that intense, room-spinning feeling, but it's so much more. It's persistent dizziness, a constant feeling of being off balance that can actually lead to falls. And then there are the things you might not even connect to it, like your vision getting blurry every time you move your head, or even brain fog, trouble with attention and memory.
Okay, so what do you do when your internal guidance system is on the fritz? Well, the good news is our brains are incredibly adaptable, and that's exactly where this therapy comes into play. Vestibular Rehabilitation Therapy, or VRT for short.
So what is VRT, really? The best way to picture it is like physical therapy, but for your brain. It's not a passive treatment. It's an active, exercise-based approach. The whole thing is built on this incredible concept called neuroplasticity, which is just the brain's amazing ability to rewire itself. VRT uses really specific, targeted exercises to teach the brain how to make up for those faulty signals it's getting from the inner ear.
And this isn't just a random set of exercises you do. No way. VRT is actually a super structured approach, and it's built on 3 core principles. Each one is designed to tackle a different piece of the problem.
So here's the 3-part strategy, the 3 pillars of VRT. First up is recalibration, or adaptation. This is all about retraining the brain's reflexes so your vision stays clear and stable when you move your head. Next, we have reduce, or habituation. This is where you slowly and safely expose yourself to the movements that make you dizzy, teaching your brain to be less sensitive to them. And finally, there's replace, or substitution. This teaches your body to use other senses more, like your eyes and the feeling in your feet, to help you keep your balance. See, it's not just one thing. It's a complete relearning process that attacks the problem from all sides. Okay, that's the science behind it. But what does VRT actually look like when you're doing it? What are the exercises? Let's take a peek inside a typical therapy program. All right, 2 of the big ones for gaze stabilization are called X1 and X2 viewing. So for X1, you'd keep your eyes locked on something that isn't moving, say a dot on the wall, while you move your head back and forth. Simple, right? But it's a direct challenge to your brain. Then, to level up, you've got X2 viewing. This time, you're moving your head and the target is moving, but in the opposite direction. That really forces the brain to work overtime to keep things in focus. But it's way more than just those eye exercises. A full VRT program is pretty comprehensive. You'll do balance training, starting simple, like just standing still, and then working up to moving around. You'll do specific tasks to make you less sensitive to motion. And, really importantly, you'll do training that mimics real life, like walking while turning your head, or even dual tasking, trying to walk and talk at the same time. The whole point is to get you ready for the real world again. Now, for this to really work, it's got to be a partnership between you and your therapist. You'll probably go to the clinic once or twice a week, and that's where they'll assess you and make the exercises harder as you get better. But, and this is the key, the real magic happens at home. You'll have to do these short little sessions a few times every single day. That consistent repetition is what actually rewires your brain. That's neuroplasticity right there in action. And this field is not standing still, not at all. There's some amazing new tech coming out that's making this whole process smarter, way more engaging, and honestly, a lot more accessible for everyone. Take virtual reality, for example. It's becoming a huge game changer. Therapists can put you in these immersive, almost game-like worlds where they can control exactly what you're seeing. This makes the exercises way more fun and motivating, and you can practice really challenging things, like walking through a busy, crowded supermarket, but you're doing it all from the safety of the clinic. How cool is that? And then there's Rehab, which has just totally revolutionized access to care. Now, through video calls and special apps on your phone,
You can get expert VRT guidance right in your own living room. This just smashes through those geographical barriers and makes it so much easier for people to actually stick with their program.
And if we look even further down the road, there's some mind-blowing research happening in something called neuromodulation. Basically, it involves using this gentle, non-invasive electrical stimulation on the head to, get this, potentially boost the brain's own natural ability to heal and adapt. This could mean we might be able to speed up recovery even more in the future. It's really cutting-edge stuff.
So, all this new technology is super exciting, but let's get down to the most important question of all. Does this stuff actually work? Is there real, solid evidence that VRT is effective?
And the answer is a huge, emphatic yes. I mean, just look at this. A major clinical guideline from the Academy of Neurologic Physical Therapy. These are the experts, came out and said there is, and I'm quoting here, strong evidence that VRT works for the most common vestibular issues. You can't get much better than that. That's pretty much the gold standard of medical proof. And the numbers really back this up. Check this out. Research shows that for some of the most common conditions, something like 80%, 80, of patients see a significant, noticeable improvement with VRT. That's not just a small change. That is a life-changing success rate.
Okay, so let's boil this all down to the crucial points. First, VRT is not some experimental thing. It is a highly effective, evidence-based treatment that really works. Second, it's an active process. You're literally retraining your brain. Third, it's not one size fits all. The best programs are tailored specifically to you. And finally, all this cool new tech is just making this amazing therapy even smarter and easier for people to access.
When you think about it, VRT is just such a powerful example of our brain's incredible ability to change and adapt. It really leaves you with a fascinating thought, doesn't it? If we can systematically retrain our brains to relearn something as deep-wired and fundamental as our sense of balance, well, what else could we one day repair, retrain, or maybe even enhance?